Hey guys, welcome back to Three Travel Gamers. This is episode 22, and I'm here with Colin.
Hey guys.
And we have a lot to talk about today, so let's just jump right into it. So, this was leaked, I believe, a couple weeks ago at this point, but we haven't talked about it yet. What's your thoughts on the leaked Tears of the Kingdom Switch? Do you think it's real? Do you think it's not? What do you think about its looks? Just tell me about it.
I think it's real. I want to believe that it is real, anyways. It looks cool. It's rather basic, though. So, like I said, but it could be their way of slowly transitioning back into that game since, like I said, after the pandemic, more companies are starting to do the themed consoles. So, like I said, it makes sense. There's a new Zelda game coming out, so why not boost up the OLED sales?
Right. I agree with that. I think it is real because the amount of talent of Photoshop you would have to do that. I mean, I think it's real. It looks really good. I'll definitely pick it up once I get the money.
I think there's videos of it too. That's what really drove me to it.
Oh, I didn't see the videos. I just seen the pictures on Imager
Yeah.
that was
But you
leaked.
know how Nintendo is, they don't really release anything super early, so it'd have to be part of the team releasing it.
Yeah, it's definitely somebody inside or close to somebody inside anyway that has it already. But it looks really good. Like I said, definitely be picking it up because I'm a huge Zelda fan and I'm gonna collect it, and it looks pretty good. The design, that left Joy-Con has like that green on it. That's the only thing that's kind of off-putting. The rest don't even have green on it, but it still looks good because Zelda's colors are gold and green and white.
That's still the main color. His main tunic is usually green, which I
Right.
know the champion's tunic in Breath of the Wild was blue, which just allowed you to see the hit points of your opponents. But like
Yeah.
I said, at the end of the day, green is usually what Link is referred with.
Right. It looks good regardless, but I'm surprised it took so long for Nintendo to do themed switches because for the longest time they wasn't doing themed switches. I believe, best I can remember, the first one they did was the Animal Crossing one for the
I think so.
V1 Switch. But then ever since then they've been doing a lot more on their bigger first party games. And I understand with Breath of the Wild being a launch title, them not doing a theme switch. They just had the gray Joy-Con and the neon blue and red Joy-Cons at launch. But if they did do a Breath of the Wild theme switch, that would have sold pretty well. I think that would have been a good launch thing to have for the Switch.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, like I said, it's forever basic design, so I could see where people could think it was photoshopped, but at the same time, it's too in depth, like you said, to be photoshopped.
I mean, even the gold is, you can see it reflecting off the light, like the gold painting. You can
Hmm.
see it just reflecting off the light. How are you going to Photoshop that well? And I think it's real. And just the way it looks, like you can, when you open a Switch, the plastic, it's everything's sleeved in plastic and everything. So
Which I think the only way they could manage to do that if they have like one of those reflective like stickers situations.
yeah,
But still, why would you put that much? Obviously, if you was like doing it for yourself, yeah, that would make sense. But to have that much time, which I know some people have that as a hobby, but it's
yeah,
just to me, it just seems a little out. Like I said, too much detail for it to be for a personal thing.
too much detail for it just to trick people online as fake. So all
I agree.
right, moving on. Since start of the year, um, Nintendo's already announced that they aren't doing a Switch Pro. They said that it was a thing, but then they canceled it. So, and since there's not going to be any Switch Pro rumors going on this year, since Nintendo shot that down, the F-Zero and the Metroid Prime rumors are back already. So, what's your opinion on those?
Well, as mentioned, we talked about it before. It's been a few episodes ago, quite a few episodes ago,
Yeah,
and it wasn't really even a topic. It was a mention. It was a rabbit
right.
hole. But I mean, I think they're just rumors. I don't see them actually doing anything with it. What I see happening before that would even happen in the first place, is tell you how far out I actually think it would be as a rumor. Is I believe that they would add GameCube to the extension pass before they would even bring F-Zero back in the first place. And then to go along with Prime, I think we would get a new Prime game. So we would get Prime 5 before we got a remaster of the first two.
Okay. Well, Colin, I'll have to disagree on that because I think
Just to disagree, or you disagreeing because you actually agree?
I'm disagreeing because I actually disagree. I don't think they're going to put GameCube on the expansion pass. I think that GameCube is too new, and they can remake them and sell them for $60, so they'll make more money doing that than doing jacking up the price on the expansion pass again.
Oh, I didn't think
So,
you were going to. I'm just saying I would see that happen first.
right, yeah, but I think because I back last year, everybody's been saying that the Metroid Prime for the first one, the remake is done. They're just waiting on Nintendo to release it. But also, Metroid Prime 4 is in the works as well. So, which one comes out first? So, we haven't heard any updates on Metroid Prime 4 for a while. So, but anyway, I have a article here. It's from source Go Nintendo, but Nate the Hate. I don't know if you've heard of him, Colin, but he's pretty reliable insider when it comes to Nintendo rumors and things. But
I know one guy too that was steered us wrong on the uh, Nintendo Direct.
yeah, but it said that Nate said that F-Zero's time will come in 2023. And then he also states in the same article that the original Metroid Prime has been completed since summer 2021, and Nintendo has just been waiting to release it. So I'm going to take, because usually, Nintendo does a direct, usually typically in February, but they might do it in January, just depending on how they feel. Just to start out the year, tell you what's in the first half of you know, the,
Yeah.
the year for releasing games and such. So I'm going to say that Metroid Prime remake will be announced in the Nintendo Direct January, February.
Isn't it coming up on its 20th anniversary?
Metroid Prime, I believe it's 35th, is it not?
I'm talking about the actual Prime games, not the Metroid
Oh yeah,
series.
yeah, yeah. Metroid Prime came out
2000.
2000,
Yeah,
maybe
so it's
2003. So yeah, I think it'll be announced in the Nintendo Direct. I could be wrong. I have no proof saying that, but that's just my thoughts and my gut feeling. But Nate said F-Zero's time will come in 2023, so we'll see if they remake F-Zero from the GameCube or if they come out with a new game. But everybody's leaning towards the remake of the GameCube version because that was the last one that came out, so everybody remembers that one. Is really fond of it. So
Yeah, there was one for the N64, but there was that one, and they was done as a series.
yeah, but everybody loved the series. Personally, I have played F-Zero, but I mean, not a huge fan. It's just a racing game, really. A fast paced racing game with Captain
That was
Falcon.
a fast-paced Mario Kart.
Yeah. So I know a lot of people would be excited and that it would sell well on the Switch because everything does. Everything's million sell or, you know, million copies sold
You
guaranteed
think
on the
it'll
Switch.
rate?
Huh?
You think it'll hit the same rate as Splatoon hit, or
No.
Splatoon 3?
No. Maybe Metro Prime would, but probably not quite that high.
Fans left out there?
Huh?
You think there's that many Metroid fans left out there?
I think so. It's grown a lot in the past few years. It used to be there wasn't a lot out there, but since, I mean, 20 years ago, there's been a lot more Metroid fans out there than there used to be.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe not quite Splatoon 3, but I'd say in the first week it'll definitely get at least 500,000, I'd hope.
It's still insane to think that I was playing Prime 20 years ago as a 4-year-old.
Yeah. And it looked good back then.
That still looks good.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like it hasn't aged all that bad, but and you can use emulators and such to up the resolution. It looks really good in 1080.
Yeah, but I'm glad all the fancy doohickeys Ashton has to update my GameCube, so I still got the same old screen. Just a
Right.
fancy TV now. It's not on a rainbow TV.
Oh, that TV was so hard to see.
It's actually a nice, decent flat screen that I can see it on now, but like I said, still at the same time, I would just, like you said, I would just get to remaster at that point.
Right.
Wouldn't be worth plugging my GameCube up to it when the Switch does everything that I need it to do, plus
Right.
more.
Exactly. All right. A PS5 design flaw has been found. What's your thoughts on that?
The typical don't stand up your console.
Yep.
I mean, it's literally been preached since anything past the GameCube, because the GameCube was the only one where you could really put it up right from how. But yet again, Nintendo understood that design flaw that all other companies pretty much had. I mean, you want to stick your PS1 or 2 sticking up sideways, so why do anything further out? Just because they got a bigger base doesn't mean that it's good to stick them up sideways. Like I said, I learned my lesson with my first Xbox 360 because I knocked it over one time playing Call of Duty, and it broke the whole entire inside of it. And
Yep.
then from that point on, every single console I had was flat down. But the issue that is with the design flaw is it's possible that the console's liquid metal cooling solution can leak and freeze over all the other components. The cooling solution should be contained, however, it is able to be dislodged, and overheating can contribute to this. So
Right.
I guess the real factor is, if you want to continue to keep it vertical against all odds, is to either limit your playing time or to constantly have a new motherboard and everything else on deck to replace.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the original fat PS2, you could put it vertically, but always had it,
Still, if you, like I said, like with the 360, if you hit and knocked it over, you was going to at least ruin your disc at the
right.
very least. Not if you broke your console even more.
Yeah. And uh Xbox 360, I've seen it happen because my cousin, he had a Xbox 360, one of the old white ones that first came out, and he always stood his vertically, but it just standing it vertically and not even knocking it over can mess the disc up because it can mess up the alignment of the laser and it'll burn a ring in your disc. And I've seen that happen on his. Just
Yep.
for the PS5, it's not every PS5 that it'll do it, but it does stand a higher chance if you run it vertically because liquid metal, and they put a seal in there, but every PS5, I mean, they get them as close as they can, but they're not all made the same. So that seal could be a little bit off, allowing it over time to leak all over the motherboard, ruining the motherboard, shorting out different components with that liquid metal, or just, like Colin said, overheating. So it's not a huge issue and it's not a big failing rate. So if you're worried about it, just put it horizontal. If I mean, it's not a guarantee that it'll happen, but we're just
I,
letting you guys know that it is a thing.
I mean, if you want to keep your $500 investment where it is, I would just put it horizontal regardless, because I mean, it don't look any more cool what it does standing up and what it does horizontal.
Right, it's huge either way.
Yeah,
It,
I mean,
it's a big old
obviously
console.
the Xbox Series X is a whole different ballgame because it's takes the GameCube's design basically, so it's a giant rectangle that's standing up instead of a flat, slimmer rectangle.
Right.
So, like I said, the base makes all the difference.
Right.
But like I said, worst case scenario is, or if you were super worried about it, which I would be personally. But like I said, I've already had my bad run in with keeping a console vertical, so every single console I have goes the horizontal route, minus the Switch, because I don't guess technically there's a way you can put your Switch horizontal. Because even if you're
Okay.
playing it in handheld mode, you still got it vertical.
I guess if
Unless
you
you're
would lay it on the dock, like lay the dock on its back and then just slide it in like underneath, I guess.
that's still not convenient because the base is meant for it
No,
because exit.
no, it's not convenient. I'm just saying you could.
Yeah. So I guess it is possible, but at the same time, it don't make no sense because it's the base is meant for it because it's has that two sided thing. One that protects the screen, and then one that keeps it upright. The
Right.
dock is what it's meant for. So,
Yeah,
like I
if
said,
you
it has always been good about that. But I think the only thing I would question is the Wii because the Wii was like that, but they even had that giant base on the bottom of it you slid into.
and the Wii, I mean, it was a lot like the GameCube. You knock that thing over, nothing's gonna happen to it. It was pretty resilient and tough.
Mm-hmm. I guess it had to
But
be that literally had controllers that you could easily throw at it.
right. But
Pretty sure you.
if you guys are really worried about it and you're kind of techie, I mean, you could take it apart and lift up the heat sink and put thermal paste out and get rid of that liquid metal if you wanted to, if you were that worried about it. But like I said, it's not that big of an issue. It's not a huge failure rate at this time. I mean, it could be in 5 years, it could be more, but as of right now, it's not. So if you're worried about it, just get some new thermal pads and put it under your heatsink, and it should be all right.
Yep. As about 5 years, it could be like the drift for Joy Cons.
Or Red Ring of Death.
That's right. I never did get that far with the 360.
I didn't either. Got
Not,
lucky. I'm surprised at the way Ryland jumped around 2 inches from the TV playing Call of Duty.
yeah.
That console got shook around a lot, him jumping around. All right, moving on. Since the big announcement and trailers of the Mario movie, there's been more rumors about a Zelda movie coming out. So, do you think it's real? Do you think it's fake? Do you think we'll see it? Do you think it'll get canceled? What's your opinion?
I mean, we've talked about it a few times on here, so it's the same old thing. It's like I said, their rumor still says that Tom Holland's going to beat his Link,
No, he's not.
but Ashton won't allow it to happen.
I won't watch it.
I still think it's more of a rumor just because the time stamp on it is basically 1 year after the Mario movie is set to be released. So, I mean, it's almost to the date. It's like spring of 2024. So, yet again, it's one of those things I'm just like, well, probably not, just because, this movie's going to be out soon, and literally you're putting timestamp a year later, and there's no news on it whatsoever. But then again, we don't, I mean, until Nintendo lets out a direct about it, I'm not going to believe a thing I see.
Right. And I've got another article here. It's sources GoNintendo.com again, but the source of the rumor is a hit and miss, not as reliable as Nate the Hate for sure. Because I mean, they have been right about some things, but they've been wrong about some things as well. But it's Giant Freaking Robot is the report. That's where it's from. But it is reported that Illumination, the studio behind the upcoming Super Mario Bros. Movie, will also be lending their talent to an animated Legend of Zelda film. But like I said, take his journey with a grain of salt because the Mario movie's not even out yet, and they're announcing. I mean, not really announcing, but coming up with Zelda rumors. So it would be nice to see, and it'd be really cool to see because we've talked about it a lot, and we'd love to see it. But do you think that Link would speak in the movie where he don't speak in the game?
That's my biggest stipulation, too, is, I mean, like you said, he don't talk. Zelda just started talking.
Yeah,
last game.
Right.
So after 35 years, well, I mean, not quite 35 years, it was closer to 30, is of what, it was 29 whenever Breath of the Wild came out.
Yeah.
So, yet again, it's one of those things. It was either 29 or 31. It came out in 17, right?
Yeah.
So it'll be 31 because it came out in 86.
Yeah.
So after 31 years, Zelda finally got to talk. I mean, obviously they always had words underneath him. Link never. It's always people just talking to him.
Right. And then they just
But
answer like he did say something.
at the same time, with that same grain of salt you're talking about, is Mario has technically in the games have only said like 5 repeatable phrases, but yet
Right.
they're about the whole thing. So I mean, I know the old show was out in the 80s. Link talked, so I
Right.
mean, it's not like it's speculation for it not to happen. I mean, obviously they'd have to do it story wise, because I mean, a story can't grow if you got a silent. This isn't the 1920s. Silent films aren't a thing anymore.
Right.
We're 100 years past the silent film eras.
Yeah. I think they would have to make him speak. Like you said in the 80s, the TV show that was out, that he did speak in it, and it wasn't awkward or anything. It was actually a pretty good TV show. I've watched a lot of it. And I don't they just have to pick somebody good to be Link, not Tom Holland.
It's going to be a voice act. It's going to be a voice actor anyways. It don't make a difference. You're not. It's not like he's going to be Spider-Man on the screen.
Right. That's true. But still, Tom Holland's voice don't sound like Link.
No, it's not what you would think. The holder of the Triforce of Courage would sound like.
Right. Yeah, exactly. But you don't want him having a big, manly, raspy voice either. So,
Like somewhere between Tom Holland and like the deepest voice you can find in Hollywood.
right.
Not really a movie fanatic on that end of the spectrum to know what actors sound deep or not, but like I said, it's just one of those things you got to find the in between of those
Just have
for a voice actor.
just have Ryan Reynolds voice him.
I mean, he doesn't get his Pikachu, so I'm sure he could do good as Link.
I don't think he would fit as Link. That voice, I don't think it fits as Link. Which
Uh,
I probably, if you would have told me he would have voiced Pikachu, I probably would have said his voice don't fit Pikachu, but it actually does pretty well in
mhm.
Detective Pikachu. So I could be wrong. Maybe it does. I don't know. Maybe he's the Link. Maybe they'll pick him or the Rock or something. I don't know.
I think The Rock would probably be a good Link, voice wise. It's like that in between
Yeah, it could be.
because he can hit several octaves, which I know most actors can. That's what they get paid to do. But
Right.
it's like I said, Rock would probably make a lot of sense.
Yeah, but they'll probably pick somebody not as high named to do it. Which I
Never
don't know.
know.
They had picked a lot of good names for the Mario movie. I mean, Chris Pratt, he's a pretty good high name. And then
Say I
Jack Black.
Mario.
Uh,
Like I said, I never thought Chris Pratt would be a Mario.
right, and it fits him pretty well. I mean, he's not Italian, but it fits pretty well.
I mean, I'd see Jack Black being a Bowser, but Chris Pratt as Mario.
Yeah, Jack Black does a really good job as Bowser. It fits him really well. Okay, moving on. GameCube style Joy-Cons announced.
eh, Definitely a good idea, and it is set to fix the drift issues that are on the current Joy Cons. So,
Right.
for the combination of that and the nostalgia purpose, I mean, I don't know how many times I've got mad that my Switch has the layout how it is, which I know it was that way on the N64. That's how the buttons layout were. It had the same thing, but the GameCube, yet again, as we talked about before, was the revolutionary for the uh, controllers.
Mm-hmm.
So does Steve at implemented on a Joy-Con? I would fork out the money to get that, especially playing Smash in handheld mode.
Oh yeah, yeah, that'd be
That's
really nice.
because that's the only reason why I bought that GameCube controller that hooks up to the Bluetooth for the Switch. Is for that.
Let me say, I was really disappointed in that controller.
I was too because you couldn't remap the buttons to where it actually was, and then they had it set still weird. Like if you was in Smash, for instance, you can't. Was what it was on the GameCube controller, like the same
And
buttons. You can't remap it.
I don't know if it was because I was used to playing the with the same Wavebird controller for 20 years. Obviously, the buttons would be a little easier to push. That controller just seemed like the buttons were stiff, and you had to push a little harder to get them to push.
See, I didn't have an issue. Like I said, my issue was the button layout, and you couldn't. Like I said, you couldn't remap it. As the only controller, you couldn't remap it on. You can
Yeah,
remap the actual Switch Joy Cons. You can remap it on. I think you could remap it on the Pro controller, couldn't you?
yeah.
And like I said, the GameCube controller version, you couldn't remap the buttons.
But yeah, it is the Nixie Wizard. Like Colin said, they have the Hall effect joysticks, so in theory they will never drift because there's no components in there that are touching, making friction, so they'll never wear out, so to say. But magnets do wear out, but it'll be a very, very long time.
Oh, I guess
And
I mean, my Joy Cons didn't start drifting for a long time, but I didn't play it near as often as what you did.
right, and I have replaced my Joy Cons because they did start drifting, but it took yours started drifting before mine did, and I played my Switch more. So just it's hit and miss, depends on
Oh, I thought mine
the.
started drifting before yours because you knew the solution right away.
Yeah, yours did start first. I thought that's what I said. I might have said it backwards.
No, I thought yours had done it first since you knew what I was talking about.
Oh no, I've just seen it a lot online.
Gotcha.
But just some highlights of this: the A, B, and X, Y light up, which is pretty cool. I guess if you need that, you don't know where the buttons are
That's the thing.
in the dark.
If you're playing it, you need to know where the buttons are. I mean, that's
In
my
the
rule.
dark,
Pro is.
right? And removable joysticks and a joystick ring for different games. I didn't do a whole lot of research on that, but that's pretty cool. And it will wake up the Switch, and it has gyroscope, and it has turbo and macro buttons as well. It is $69.99, and they went out of stock almost as soon as they went live. So a lot of people picking these up. I would like to buy them and try them out sometime. Just even playing, especially Smash in handheld mode, but really any game in handheld mode, it would give you a grip to hold on to. I mean, I do have my grips that I bought that I slide my Switch into, but GameCube controllers are more comfortable.
Definitely, definitely a lot more comfortable.
So I mean, it's a really good idea, and I'm surprised that nobody's thought of this and already came out with it before, outside of personal mods and you know,
I mean, it makes sense because I think Nintendo had a small play in this, even though it wasn't really a complete play in.
right. Like I mean, they license stuff out to like PowerA. That's who made that one GameCube controller, and other companies, Hyperkin things. So maybe they license this out, or maybe you never know. But it's not just in handheld. It has the rails like you do for the actual Joy Cons. You can put them in like that controller type thing, and kind of looks like a Wavebird controller when you do that. But you can play it on the Switch, so it's pretty cool.
I don't know. I've still only played on Waiver like twice, and that was yours each time.
Yeah,
I
I
still
love it.
prefer to plug it into the GameCube and keep on going.
I don't know. I'd rather have a Wavebird. I think they're. I don't know. I don't know if it's just where they're filled in the middle. I just think the weight distributes better, but that might
Yeah,
just be where I'm used to playing them.
yeah.
But I
But
mean,
for
I've
me,
played wired controllers too. We played wired controllers at your house and at my malls. We had a GameCube. We didn't have our Waybirds there, so we used wired controllers.
yeah. The only crappy part about the wire controllers is rolling them back up after you're done.
Yeah,
It
I
takes
guess
so
you don't
long.
have to. I guess you don't have to, but It's better to.
Yeah, that definitely saves a lot more space. Makes it look neater,
Yeah,
anyways.
yeah, it does. That's for sure.
Yeah,
All right. Probably shouldn't go on to the next topics.
because surprisingly, we beat the odds, and we're actually made them last longer than what we expected them to.
Yeah, I was expecting to go through 'em, but they'll be there for next week. I do want to say the games that are coming out for January. It was kind of just for the ending, like for socials, that part, but that's why I didn't put them in our topics. But
So we're talking about the game passes.
no, just the new games releasing for this month.
Oh, go ahead
I
and hit
didn't
it
put
then.
them in the Yeah, I didn't
Okay.
put them in topics because I was just going to do it for like the ending, like when we do our socials and crap.
Oh, okay. Then go ahead and hit it then.
All right, January games coming out this month. I mean, there's more than this, but these are the highlights. Fire Emblem Engage comes out January 20th. If you're a Fire Emblem fan, Dead Space Remake comes out January 27th. That's that's one to pick up if I had a next gen console. And then SpongeBob the Cosmic Shake comes out January 31st. We'll be picking that up and trying it out because we've always loved SpongeBob games from
Right.
Battle for Bikini Bottom and the movie and others. But definitely check it out. And it's only $40. It's not a full price $60 Switch game.
You can find that on
Yeah,
Amazon affiliate link.
yeah, they are already. By the time you hear this, I've already put them in our podcast episode description for this episode. So it's already down there. Just scroll down, hit the link, and buy it.
Don't forget to follow our TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, Mastodon. If you have a Mastodon account, it's pretty much Twitter for gaming.
YouTube.
Redbubble, YouTube, NordVPN. Now they are a now sponsor to Ashton's demise. It sounds like, looks like.
I'm not gonna say anything, but guys, definitely join our Discord so we can chat with you guys because I mean that'd be the easiest way to talk to us, and we'd love to talk to you guys and discuss. We just go there and chill out and you know just hang out and talk with you guys. If you guys have any questions, have any feedback, we'd love to hear it. And so the link will definitely be in the subscription as it is every week. I know we always forget to mention the Discord, but yeah, join the Discord so we can chat with you guys.
Yeah, it seems like Discord's pretty much overlooked. Twitch too. We got Twitch.
We do. We don't have any content right there anymore. I got to get a capture card, but
I gotta find mine. It's somewhere. Bad, and
yeah,
it's I need a computer to record on anyway, so I'm still out of luck on that one.
I have the computer. I have everything I need. Just I don't have the capture card. So
I send you a capture card.
yeah,
Better find it.
if not, I'll pick one up eventually. But thank you guys for listening, and we'll catch you guys next week.
Later, guys.